Hello and welcome into another edition of Sitting Down with Sgar. I'm the voice of Hoya Football Jeremy Huber, joined by Georgetown head football coach Rob Sgarlata. Rob, thanks again for joining us.
Jeremy, great to see you.
Great to see you, coach, and coming off a loss up at Colgate this week, but again, feels like one that can be built off of a one-score game really into the fourth quarter. Your guys played hard up at Hamilton. Your thoughts on the performance?
Yeah, like I said, it's frustrating because the whole goal of this program is to win games and win the Patriot League title, go to the playoffs, and chase a national title. That's what Georgetown's about. Excellence in everything that we do. So to be in these games and have chances to win, based on 4, 5, 6 plays, that's the 1% we're chasing every day. In this game, it boiled down to probably about 6 plays total in the game. We refer to them as Sisu plays. They're the really important ones. So the theme of this week has been the finish. Whether it's in the weight room with our lifts or in meetings, practice. We did a lot of competitive stuff today, some situational stuff throughout the week. So we're looking to finish games now. We're in all these contests. We got to figure out a way to get over the hump, win those last 5 plays, and come out with a W.
One guy that obviously finishes is Josh Tomas, another Patriot League honorable mention, and the numbers he's putting up: 11 catches, 156 a touchdown, 3 double-digit catch games this year, 4 100-yard receiving games. Again, where is he improved where he continues to put up these numbers?
It's interesting because we know how talented he is, and he is one of those guys that comes out every single day and competes. He's definitely a guy we got to slow down at times in the Friday walkthrough. So, that the way you practice is the way you play. We talked a lot to the kids about, you don't rise to an occasion. There's a fourth down play and the ball's being thrown to him. He's done that 10, 15 times in competition and practice. So, we talk about you don't rise to an occasion, you sink to the level of your training. His level of his training is extremely high. On top of it, everybody knows that he's one of our main targets. We're lucky that we have a lot of skill guys that can make some plays on offense, and Pierce has done a great job distributing the ball. But Colgate knew in the criticals we were going to number 2, and they couldn't stop him. So he continues to get better week to week, and he's always looking to expand his game. The other day I was walking down the hallway by Coach Spence's office, and there was one more person in there than normal in the quarterback meeting in the afternoons. And I looked, it was JT. He's sitting in the Q meetings and wants to understand how it works and the terminology and all that good stuff. So, he's always looking for that extra edge. And it's not a surprise to me that he's putting up the numbers that he is this season.
Another Patriot League honorable mention honoree this week is your Ekabachi jersey honoree, Justin Fontenot. Had another big game with 13 tackles, and really he's stepped it up lately when it comes to his tackles. I believe 3 out of the last 4 are double-digit tackle games for him. Where has he started to come on in this season?
Justin's done a really good job leading a mix of some older guys playing on defense and some younger guys. So it's great to see him start playing to his potential and having some impact games. So, for us to win games and for us to play well on defense, especially stopping the run, he has to continue to improve each week.
Rob, you mentioned older and younger guys. An older guy, Javon Campbell, had a big game, didn't start, but ended up with 12 tackles. How important is it having guys like Javon on this team?
Yeah, Jovi's an energy guy. He had a great week of practice. We recognized him for the week of practice. And then, he played, I guess the word is reckless on Saturday. Threw his body around, made a bunch of big plays for us. And, to have leadership like Jovi, who, like you said, didn't start, is working his tail off to fill any role that we've asked him, and come in and have a performance like that, that's big. So those are the things that are really encouraging as we go through these games that we're trying to build on week to week.
Rob wanted to touch on one more guy, and it happens to be a young guy. Mateen Ebiroba, again, another big game, had both of your tackles for loss in the game. And, from talking to some folks earlier in the season, kind of a surprise that he's been able to come in and do what he has. Has it been a pleasant surprise for you?
Yeah, anytime that you can come in as a freshman and be an impact player, especially up front on the defensive line, to me, that's impressive. So, Mateen is extremely talented and extremely driven, which are 2 things that you can build on. Extremely excited to see him finish his freshman campaign and also, see him be able to get into the weight room, work with Coach Shanahan. And I just think the sky's the limit for him. I honestly think he's just scratched his potential this year up front. So, It's really good to have him as an addition there, and he's been very consistent throughout the year, which for a young player having to deal with a transition with school and football, it's been really impressive. So hopefully he continues to develop for us throughout the season.
Rob, let's move on. You have a Lafayette team that is coming off of maybe their best performance of the season in a loss as they took Holy Cross to the wire in last week's game. Your thoughts on the Leopards?
Yeah, it's Coach Troxel, who's a Lafayette grad, and I've known Coach Trox John for a long time from when he was on the Lafayette staff before, and then returning. He's done a good job of building this team. They're very talented on defense. Malik Cam is one of the best players in the conference at defensive end, and yeah, they took Holy Cross down the last play. Holy Cross scored on a 4th and goal from the 16 to go ahead. Holy Cross also blocked a punt, and tackled the punter on one for short fields for scores. So definitely a game that they really did a good job of matching up with Holy Cross on both sides of the ball. So they've gotten better every week that you see them play as they've progressed throughout their season. So really excited. We always enjoy playing out at Lafayette. It's a nice place to play. It's been a place where we've had a lot of success, and I think the kids are looking forward to getting back on the field.
Rob, you mentioned their defense, and they've been pretty strong on that side of the ball for a while now. From what you've seen on the other sideline, what makes their unit so good?
They're a high pressure unit. I think they bring pressure from a bunch of different places. They run to the ball. They play extremely hard, and they have a couple of marquee players within the league. So if you look and see what they did against Holy Cross, they limited them in the pass game for the most part, and did a good job stopping the run. So those are two things that we've really taken a look at this week, just to see how we're going to attack them. And basically try to exploit some of the things that we see within their system. But they're very solid. You're going to have to do a good job, be sound, and take care of the football, throughout the game to have success.
Rob, you've been very lucky this year that you've really kind of trotted out one quarterback in Pierce Holly. They've gone with a few different guys. Looked like last week, Sean Davis kind of reasserted himself as maybe the starter. What you've seen from him last year in the game and maybe on tape, some thoughts on the QB for the Leopards?
Yeah, I think they do a really good job of playing to his strengths. They do a good job within the screen game. They do a good job running the football, using some different formations with unbalance and those things to make you have to adjust to it. So he does a good job. It may look like he's going to take off a couple times out of the pocket, but his eyes are always downfield, and that's where he creates some big plays. So looking to contain him and keep him in the pocket, get some pressure on him. Hopefully put a lot of pressure on the football. One of the things we didn't do against Colgate was create turnovers. So this week, that's been a huge part of our game plan, and just really making our guys aware of the fact that we got to put more pressure on the ball and force some turnovers.
Rob, before we move on to some off the field stuff, I mentioned Pierce Holly, and again, had another really good performance against Colgate. The level he's playing at, how happy are you to see what he's been putting out for his performances?
I mean, Pierce threw for over 300 yards again. He's 31 of 44. And, we do have a lot of weapons for him to go to. He made some incredible throws in the game. He hit a seam ball early in the third quarter. That's one of the best balls I've seen him throw. So, I think the biggest difference for Pierce is he really invested with Coach Spence. He's a student of the game. He knows what he's seeing in front of him. And we've always known he's had all the arm talent to make all the throws. So, it's fun to see him have success. And honestly, he's the first guy in the meeting room, and he's always around, and he's always looking to get us to be better, get the extra work in, and it's really showing with his performances.
Rob, we'll move on. And of course, when you think Lafayette, sometimes think about Luke Thompson, your former defensive coordinator, spent some time up there, moved on to the NFL now with the Jaguars. Also, Mo Banks, your former coach, the head coach at Gettysburg up in the Keystone State. Again, some really good coaches from your staff moving on to some really big, high, and better things. What does that say about your program when some of these guys kind of move on and do some of these fantastic things like that?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. We welcomed Coach Benson back when Penn came, back to the hilltop, who basically helped build this program and get us where we are. So I was always raised by, Coach Benson, Coach Kelly, that, the job is to create great teachers and have people ready for the next opportunity that comes. So, if you look at the Georgetown coaching tree, with Pete Limo at South Carolina and with Coach Thompson now, with the Jags, and Mo Banks doing a great job building the Gettysburg program. For us, I think it just says a lot about the place. I think it says a lot about Lee Reed and the department that he's building, that is creating these leaders and these people that within the football world are having a lot of success. So it's awesome to see people move on and move up and have success where they're going, and having them stay attached to the program.
Well, Rob, going to wrap this one up, but wanted to ask you any final thoughts or any things kind of going on in the program that maybe we don't know about that you want to kind of get out there and let the fans know about?
Yeah, this week we're traveling up to Lafayette, and we'll use the proximity to the New York football family to go up to Wall Street, have a reception with about 100 of our alums. And for me, it's a good way to visit with everybody, catch up. It's also a way to thank a lot of the guys up on the street who helped our kids throughout the summer, in their internship search and in their 4 for 40 journey. So I think we had 12 to 13 guys that were up in New York interning. We're down here doing virtual things with our alumni, direct result of our alumni relationships up there. So, for me, it's a good chance to go up and visit, give everybody a little bit of the state of the program, give them some insight on what's going on here, and also, start in gratitude and thank them for supporting the program and especially taking care of our student athletes.
And Rob, you know me, I always have to ask you the extra question after I tell you last question. But again, how important is it for you guys to not only be in the Patriot League, but also kind of get those Ivies and maybe a Maris where you're able to get up there and be in front of some of these folks and let them come out and watch the team? It's not just giving phone calls and say, hey, come on out and check the team out, guys.
Yeah, anytime that we can, I've been lucky to be here for 32 years, right? So the Georgetown family overall and the football family it's nationwide. We have 100 players from 25 different states. So no matter where we go, there's Hoyas there. Like, we always have a guy or a person somewhere. So for us, for me, it's the personal touch. It's not so much me getting a chance to talk to them, but people being able to relate and speak with our current players. Glenn Waters, one of our former players, offensive lineman, who's pursuing his PhD in English, is coming back to do a seminar Thursday night for us with our players and on campus. So those connections and those people that stay attached to the program, that's the people make the place. And for me, I think it's really important for people to understand our players without their helmet on. What they're doing off the field, what they're doing in school, the internship piece of it, and being able to enjoy us building the championship football program here.
Some really good young men getting some good opportunities, and hopefully they'll convert some of those opportunities this weekend against the Leopards. Georgetown taking on Lafayette, a 12:30 Eastern kickoff on Saturday. You can catch it on the Patriot League on ESPN, or get up to Easton and check it out if you're in the area. Should be a good matchup. The Leopards and the Hoyas always seem to be. Rob, thank you so much for joining us.
Great. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
That's Georgetown head football coach Rob Sgarlata. Thanks to our producer, Dylan Smith. I'm Jeremy Huber, and that's it for this edition of Sitting Down with Sgar and Hoya Saxa.